Most people don't fail at their goals because they are lazy. They fail because their brain was never taught how to pursue goals correctly. If motivation alone worked, everyone who felt inspired on January 1st would still be consistent in December. But that doesn't happen. What actually happens is excitement fades, resistance grows, and eventually the goal becomes a source of guilt instead of progress. Today, we're going to break down why that happens and how to rebuild goal pursuit from the inside out using how the brain actually works, not how motivational culture tells you it should work. The biggest mistake people make is believing goals are about willpower. Willpower feels heroic, but the brain does not run on heroics. It runs on value, prediction, and energy management. Your brain is constantly asking two questions. Is this worth pursuing? And what action should I take right now? If either answer is unclear, motivation collapses. This is why vague goals feel heavy. The brain cannot attach value to something that is undefined, unrealistic, or emotionally flat. Motivation doesn't disappear randomly. It shuts off when the brain decides the effort is not justified. Another silent failure point is emotional misalignment. People are told to visualize success constantly, to imagine the win, the applause, the relief. That feels good at first, but it creates a problem. When your brain repeatedly experiences the reward mentally, the urgency to earn it physically drops. The goal starts to feel finished before the work is done. This is why motivation often crashes after intense visualization or hype. The brain believes the value has already been partially collected. What actually sustains long-term pursuit is not imagining success, but clearly imagining the cost of failure. The brain's motivational circuits evolved to avoid loss before they evolved to chase pleasure. When you regularly confront what happens if you do nothing, what skills you never develop, what opportunities quietly disappear, your brain assigns urgency to action. This isn't negative thinking, it's accurate thinking. Avoiding failure is one of the strongest natural motivators humans have. Another overlooked factor is attention placement. Motivation is not just chemical, it is directional. When attention is scattered, effort feels expensive. When attention is focused, effort feels lighter. This is why multitasking kills momentum. The brain interprets scattered attention as uncertainty, and uncertainty triggers hesitation. When attention is placed deliberately on a single target, even briefly, the body enters a state of readiness. Heart rate shifts, energy mobilizes, and action becomes easier to initiate. This is also why goals that are too easy or too extreme fail. Easy goals don't activate the nervous system enough to generate momentum. Impossible goals overwhelm the system and shut it down. The most powerful goals sit just outside your current ability. They feel uncomfortable but believable. Your brain senses that success is possible if effort is applied, and that belief is what sustains action over time. Now let's talk about progress tracking, because this is where many people sabotage themselves without realizing it. Constantly checking results destroys motivation. The brain relies on anticipation to release drive. If you evaluate progress too frequently, you collapse anticipation and create disappointment. Weekly assessment works better than daily judgment. It gives the brain enough time to experience effort without immediately demanding proof. Progress feels more real when it's measured at the right interval. Dopamine plays a crucial role here, but not in the way most people think. Dopamine is not the pleasure molecule, it is the pursuit molecule. You can enjoy things without dopamine, but you cannot chase them. Dopamine rises when progress is possible and drops when outcomes feel out of reach. This means your job is not to chase pleasure, but to design progress. Small, meaningful wins spaced unpredictably keep the system engaged far better than constant rewards. Another powerful shift happens when you stop thinking of goals as destinations and start treating them as systems. A destination is motivating only at the start. A system gives your brain something to do every day. Systems reduce the emotional weight of achievement and replace it with consistency. The brain prefers repeatable actions over dramatic leaps. When actions become familiar, resistance drops. One of the most effective ways to train this is learning to move attention between the internal state and the external target. When you are stuck in your head, effort feels heavy. When attention shifts outward, toward a future point, action becomes easier. Practicing this movement builds mental flexibility. Over time, you get better at stepping out of overthinking and into execution. This is not mindfulness for calm. This is attentional training for momentum. The final mistake people make is believing motivation should feel good. Real motivation often feels uncomfortable, tense, even slightly anxious. That tension is not a flaw. It is energy being mobilized. The goal is not to eliminate discomfort, but to direct it. When discomfort has direction, it becomes drive. When it doesn't, it becomes avoidance. If you want to pursue goals effectively, stop asking how to feel motivated and start asking how to structure your environment, your attention, and your expectations. Set goals that challenge you without crushing you. Visualize consequences more than rewards. Focus attention narrowly before action. Measure progress weekly, not obsessively. And remember that motivation is not something you summon. It is something you design. When you align with how the brain actually works, effort feels lighter, consistency becomes natural, and goals stop feeling like battles. They become paths, and paths are much easier to walk than cliffs are to climb.